quite a while I've been using Swahili to teach and everything so far, right? But today I feel like just addressing myself in English, if you wouldn't really mind, because wow, teaching in Swahili has been really interesting. And I mean, whenever I kind of like listening to it myself, I feel like wow, this is some kind of really interesting matter, because I find myself speaking in Congo Swahili, Tanzania Swahili, so it's kind of like sound a little bit strange, right? Well, but anyway, yeah, so today I want to address to you something that can really make you to see the value of Index Universal Life once you choose to apply it in your life. So when investing with any bucket out there, or probably trying to put your dollars or dashing them in any bucket out there, the many things that you've got to look in, or the many thing I would say rather we have got to look into it is interest. Either it's being in a bank, in a bond, in stock, interest rate, either it being in a CD, which this is bank product, certificate of deposit, right? Because why am I saying this? The reason why I'm saying this is because of inflation in America. This is different with Africa. Inflation in here, it's really serious, because back in Africa they would only teach us inflation in schools, and then at the end of the day we are not completely seeing it like as in really serious back home. Though how can we exactly identify, like define inflation? Inflation is the rising of prices of goods and services. So when goods or services they rise up, that is due to inflation. And most of the time what causes inflation, it is when the government print much more money than it requires to print, because every country in the world, they've got their only limit to print money, because when they overprint, then inflation goes higher. I don't know why it's that way, because in a country where there is so much educated people like this, things should be going priceless, but unfortunately they are going price higher, which is quite really interesting. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I'm trying to catch up with here is that the 3% 4% inflation rate that it is in America, that is one of the things that we are definitely have to beat it out, because when trying to build wealth, we have to identify angles and areas that they can hold us really tight back without progressing ahead. Because when you check in a bank, when you say in your checking account, they give you about 0.1%, and then in your saving you have 0.02%. So literally this is not really helping with inflation. But at least in a bond you have something like 4%. But at the end of the day, you might beat inflation here, but you still have taxes to deal with. So there's inflation, there's taxes, and then you come to realize that you are really netting nothing at all. With the stocks, yes, quite right, it might really produce, but at the end of the day, we should not forget about market volatility. Market volatility was that it's a recession where market crash, because the moment the market crash, the dollars that you place in there, you lose them, and at the same time they lose value. And at the same time, you don't have to forget that you are going to deal with inflation and then taxes. So that's the thing. These are the great things that break wealth when building wealth in America. They are the great things when building wealth in America. One has to completely see themselves out of this, because inflation, to me, I would say that's a hidden tax, because at the end of the day, this can crush someone's bucket completely. For instance, let's say you have 100,000 with a 3% inflation. This dollar, once a year crossed, it will only be worth $97. Now think about this in a bigger form, 100,000 or maybe 1,000, meaning you are reducing the value of that income once it's been placed in a bank, in a bond, in a CD, because a CD tends about 3%. Yes, quite right, you beat inflation, but you've got taxes there, you have got penalty, because this bond, whenever you try to access it, it has to grow. But whenever we try to fetch around IUL, Index Universal Life, well, the thing is, we don't really have to love life insurance, I tell you. But the many thing is that when building wealth, because this is what the wealth in America do, they use IUL, Index Universal Life. Because one of the thoughts that I can give you is that, well, we've been taught to say that paying much more money to our mortgage, to advance those payments, it is one of the best way to get out of debt. That's not it. That's exactly not it. Because a house, it's a liability. It is not an asset. It's making us to be charged more money, like out of it, to spend our money literally out of. At the end of the day, we're losing the game of making money. But what the wealth is that 20 years ago, since studies has been going on, IUL has been earning 7% interest rate on average. So this literally is completely a blessing. With inflation at 3%, already here you've won the game, because when you do something like a split, when we make something like a split, when we do 7% minus 3%, already there you have something like a 4% remaining. You've beat inflation and your money keeps earning money. You've seen the greatness, right? So that's the main thing about Index Universal Life. Is just bump up your life and you keep averaging top high, and you don't even find yourself exactly losing your dollars in here, meaning you are self-protected. Because during the 2008 that recession happened, the market lost about 40%. People cried, houses were repossessed, cars were repossessed, most things were completely really bad. IUL protects you out of that, what they call market volatility, market crash, because when the market crash, nobody has control of it. So with this product, you are completely protected, secured. And then the best thing about it, how it has been designed, you don't really find yourself paying taxes, you don't have penalties there, you completely beat inflation, and then at the same time you're building wealth. Guys, this is a blessing. It is literally a blessing. This is infinite building wealth, 100% reliable product for life. Loving that you enjoyed this shortly teaching. Other than that, I would really love to see you next time as we progress to create wealth in this country. Thank you so much. You take care and have a blessed weekend.